Emma, your thoughts on the win?
Yeah, good win today. I think, things weren't looking great there in the second set. But just try to be really tough, stick in there, make her hit one more ball. I felt like if I could, scrap out a few longer points, maybe put some pressure on her. And, I felt like I could come back and maybe close it out in 2 sets. So happy with how I was able to do that.
Thank you. Name and affiliation. One question, please, if you would. Brian.
Brian Lewis from the New York Post. You talked about when you were down 5-1, I think 15-15. When you won those 4 straight points, what was it that you, I guess, sensed about the momentum that you saw crack that you could take advantage of?
Yeah, I think I felt like she, even though she was up 5-1, 5-2 after that game, I felt like, she wasn't totally confident in her ability to close out that set. So I felt like, if I could push back a little bit and make her think a little bit on her service game, maybe I could sneak my way back in there. And yeah, I think sometimes you're out on the court and you can kind of picture yourself playing a third set. And when I was out there, I didn't picture myself playing a third set and felt like, I don't know, I could come back and do it in 2.
Court.
WTA, congrats, Emma. I think you said a while ago that when you got your wild card making your WTA debut in Charleston, you walked off the court being very overwhelmed by that experience. When's the last time you have felt overwhelmed on the court? Because it doesn't seem like it's been a while.
Yeah, it's crazy that I'm able to walk out on Ashe and feel comfortable, because it's definitely not my nature to want to be in the spotlight and seek the attention of a lot of people. So it's kind of crazy, just my comfort level out there. I think I was a little bit overwhelmed maybe at Indian Wells playing on center court. But I think it was so important for me to have those experiences at that stage to, be able to come out on a day like today and feel comfortable, on probably the biggest stage in tennis. So happy with my progression of just feeling more comfortable on big stages.
Cindy.
Hey, Emma, at Wimbledon, you said, after you beat Naomi, that you said you were overwhelmed by the thought that you were playing on the same court that Roger and Rafa had played on. Were you thinking about that at all today, about the people who had come before you on Ashe Stadium?
No, I wasn't. I was kind of laser focused, I guess, today, and just locked into the task at hand. But yeah, now to look back and remember who's played on me before, and having Serena here the other day, it's pretty insane that just all the legends of our sport have played on that court, and just walked up to the same baseline that I'm walking up to serve. It's crazy, and I definitely feel just very grateful to be taking that stage and be playing the tennis that I'm playing, and have another opportunity to do so in a couple of days.
Phil.
Philip Bondi, New York Daily News. You thanked your dad after the match. Tennis is an expensive sport. How much did the family resources help you early on?
Yeah, I think I had access to courts from a young age, and I was able to practice with other kids, and I had coaches that would help me out for sure. But I think a lot of kids have access to that, especially in the U.S. And I think it's cool that our sport is growing and more kids do have resources like that. So for sure it played a role in allowing me to be where I'm at now. And I'm super grateful that I did have those resources as a kid.
Howard.
Since you could play
Zhang next. I wanted to ask if you could explain what you said after the match in Paris and what you meant by that.
Yeah. I don't want to go super into the weeds with it, but I think during that match and, on the practice court and the last few times I've played her, because we have been playing each other since we were juniors, I felt just a little bit disrespected by her. And, I don't want to, like I said, go too into detail with it. But I think she didn't necessarily treat me or the sport with respect, and that's why I said what I said after the match. But yeah, that's it.
Matt.
Can I ask about your grandmother, who you mentioned, I think, earlier in the year, and she's upstate New York, if I recall? Or
She's in Mystic, Connecticut.
Mystic, Connecticut,
Yeah.
right, around here. Is she able to come here at all? And, is she... You sort of told this story of her calling you after all these matches, and sort of I'm sort of curious how you guys are communicating and how you're seeing her throughout this run.
Yeah, my aunt and uncle have been driving up here for every match and bringing her with them. And I think it was after my second or third round, they drove here, watched my match, drove back home. They got home at like 10 p.m., I think, and then they rewatched my match. So, yeah, she's insane. But yeah, it's awesome to have her support. I saw her after my second round match in the stands, and at my first match, she was screaming my name when I walked onto the court trying to get my attention, and my mom said, Grammy's the only person that could get away with doing that. So yeah, she's awesome, and it's been great to have her here.
David.
A few tips. Yeah, more maybe mental stuff, but yeah, a few tips.
David.
Hi, I'm David King, tennis.com. I'm sorry to go back to the moment about the Olympics, but I just wanted to ask because I think it was a moment that surprised people because you're known for being so calm and even keel on court. Did it surprise you? Did you surprise yourself when you said what you said at the net? And have you had a chance to speak to her in the weeks since then?
No, I haven't spoken to her since. And no, I didn't surprise myself. I felt that way the whole match, and even if I had won, I probably would have said the same thing. It wasn't a sort of in the moment emotional thing. It was kind of just how I felt, and I think it got a lot more attention than I thought it was going to. And yeah, I think maybe it's just one person's opinion, but yeah, it wasn't an emotional outburst. It was kind of just matter of factly how I felt.
Eric Jackson with Sportico. Emma, you touched on it a little bit before, but I just wanted to ask you, kind of growing up with your wealthier background compared to your counterparts and opponents, how do you think that's helped you, succeed and accomplish your own goals in tennis?
Yeah, like I talked about before, I think, I did have access to resources as a kid. But, I don't want that to take away from the fact that, I've worked really, really hard to be where I'm at, and I've put a ton of hours in, and I started training twice a day and getting in the gym from the time I was 8-9 years old, and it's been a ton of hard work and dedication, and of course having access to courts and coaches and other kids to hit with definitely helped me, but there's also a lot of hard work that goes into it.
Okay, we're going to go Richard, Bill, Willie. That's all we have time for. Richard?
You gave a shout out to your dad at the end there, and I just wondered if you might share any of the conversations you remember having with him growing up, just how he encouraged you.
Yeah, he's been my number one fan, my number one supporter my entire life. He taught my siblings and I a lot of really important lessons from the time we were young that definitely pertain to tennis, but also just life. And, I think he was definitely, obviously, an advocate for, me trying to make something of tennis, but he also wanted me to. He always said he didn't want me to be a one-trick pony. So he was an advocate of me working really hard in school, and it was always family, school, then tennis. And I think he did a really good job at putting things into perspective. He didn't grow up with a lot of money. It was him and 7 siblings, and my grandfather coached football, and he grew up as a kid doing odd jobs, trying to make a penny, and he worked really hard to get where he's at, and he instilled a lot of the lessons that he's learned along the way into my siblings and I. I think he was a big proponent that doing hard physical things makes you really tough and teaches you a lot of lessons. So I think that was part of the reason that he wanted my siblings and I to play sports, tennis specifically. And, I always, or he always taught us that, tennis is really important, but it's more about the lessons you're learning along the way, the life lessons that you're learning, and you're learning how to be tough and resilient. And, I think... I can't remember what the question was, but yeah.
Bill, and we close with Willie. Go ahead.
Just a while ago, it was Tyler, Texas, and Midlands and all that, and now you've had this run from slam to slam to slam, and here you are. I believe a while ago you might have said that you were surprised and not surprised. If you don't mind, could you just go into that again, and just briefly, where did your granddad coach football, please?
He coached at Wabash for a little bit, Williams College, and Princeton. I think I've gone through periods of time where I'm surprised at where I'm at, but also when I look back and think about the methodical approach to tennis that I've taken, and just that. When I look at my physical ability and my mental ability in this sport, it's not surprising. And I feel, just more comfortable now with having good results and having success. And, I think I've had periods of both surprise and not surprise. But, right now I think I'm ready to be in this position, and I think that's probably a result of just this sort of slow, gradual, methodical approach I've taken to tennis and improving myself.
Willie, last question.
So you mentioned Zhang in terms of your interactions. What about your thoughts on her as a player and the challenge of facing her? And then if you wouldn't mind addressing that with regard to Arena.
She's a great player. I think she has a really good serve. I think she has really big ground strokes. I think she's super powerful and, covers the court well, and, puts a lot of pressure on you as a returner and on the serve as well. So I think it'll be a great challenge. And Sabalenka is similar. Big serve, big ground strokes. So I'd probably take those two matches on kind of similarly in terms of, being aggressive and pushing back against their powerful games, and, as always, trying to scrap out some longer points and make them hit one more ball.
But you didn't touch on Sabalenka's experience and being a major champion. What do you think that effect is?
I think it definitely comes into play. She's been on this stage before. She's been in this position before. But I feel like she might feel like she has something to lose. Whereas I feel like I've everything to go after. That's something that I work on a lot, trying to put myself in a position to go after something, no matter the match or the opponent. So,
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Emma.
Thank you.